Don't scroll, listen to this, because if you're here right now, your heart needs this right now, and this message is for you in a way that words can barely explain, because Archangel Michael has been working quietly in your life during moments when you felt the most alone, the most uncertain, the most tempted to give up, and listen to this carefully. What you thought was abandonment was actually isolation for alignment, what felt like silence was spiritual shielding, and what looked like rejection was redirection, and your heart needs this right now because there were things you almost said, choices you almost made, people you almost ran back to out of habit or fear, and every time something stopped you, an unanswered text, a sudden distraction, a change of mood. That was protection. That was Archangel Michael stepping between you and something that would have delayed your destiny, and don't scroll, because this part matters. You've been sensing a heaviness lift lately, even if life hasn't dramatically changed yet, moments where your chest feels lighter, where your reactions are calmer, where things that once triggered you no longer have the same power, and listen to this, that's not numbness, that's healing. That's your nervous system finally realizing it's safe to rest. And your heart needs this right now because the universe has been clearing energetic debt you didn't even know you were carrying, patterns past down, emotional responsibilities that were never yours, guilt that kept you stuck in cycles of overgiving, and don't scroll, stay with this, because Archangel Michael says you've been protected from seeing certain truths too early. Not because you couldn't handle them, but because timing matters, and clarity given before readiness can feel like pain instead of peace, and listen to this carefully. There were people around you who benefited from your confusion, from your kindness without boundaries, from your tendency to doubt yourself, and as your awareness grew, as your intuition sharpened, those dynamics could no longer survive. So the universe began to quietly remove access, creating distance without drama, separation without chaos, and your heart needs this right now because you might have blamed yourself for those shifts, wondering if you changed too much, if you became colder, if you lost something important, but listen to this, you didn't lose anything real, you outgrew what couldn't follow you, and don't scroll. Because signs have been guiding you through this transition, angel numbers appearing when you second-guess yourself, sudden urges to rest or reset, random moments of gratitude that come without reason. And listen to this, those are confirmations that you're being held, guided, and watched over even when you can't see the full picture yet, and your heart needs this right now because love is being redefined in your life, not as intensity without safety, not as effort without return, but as peace, consistency, and mutual choosing, and don't scroll, this is important. Because if you felt detached from a soulmate connection lately, that space was necessary to reveal truth, to remove fantasy, to let only what's authentic remain, and whether that results in reunion with clarity or release with peace, Archangel Michael says the outcome will honor your growth, not punish it, and listen to this carefully. The reason you've been called inward, drawn to quiet moments, less interested in noise and validation, is because your soul has been recalibrating to a higher frequency, and higher frequencies require stillness to integrate, and your heart needs this right now because the old version of you would have chased answers, chased reassurance, chased people who couldn't meet you halfway. But the new version of you is learning to trust the pause, to respect the process, to let things unfold without force, and don't scroll, stay present, because something subtle but powerful is about to reveal itself, not as a dramatic event, but as a deep knowing, a realization that settles in your body and tells you you're safe to move forward, and listen to this one more time. Archangel Michael has been guarding your path, even when you questioned it, even when you felt tired of believing, even when you wondered if you were asking for too much, and your heart needs this right now because you are not meant to struggle your way into alignment, you are meant to be guided into it, and this message is a reminder that the protection around you is real, the shift you feel is valid, and the chapter you're stepping into will feel quieter, clearer, and more honest than anything you've known before. And don't scroll, because this is not the end of the message, it's the calm before the final confirmation. Don't scroll, listen to this, because if you are still here, your heart needs this right now, and this message is for you in a way that reaches deeper than sound, deeper than thought, because Archangel Michael is moving decisively now, not in chaos, not in fear, but in calm authority, and listen to this carefully. What you've been feeling lately is not confusion, it's detachment, and detachment is the final stage before freedom, the moment when cords loosen, when emotional weight lifts, when your body finally understands what your soul has known all along. And don't scroll, because there were invisible ties pulling at you for years, ties to guilt, obligation, old versions of love, old promises you made when you didn't yet know your worth. And your heart needs this right now because those cords are being cut cleanly, gently, without drama, without destruction, in a way that leaves peace instead of pain. And listen to this, if you've noticed that certain people no longer trigger you, that certain memories feel distant, that certain fears don't hit as hard as they used to, that's not you becoming cold, that's you becoming free. And don't scroll, stay with this. Because the universe has been watching how you've stopped chasing explanations, how you've stopped forcing closure, how you've learned to let silence answer questions words never could, and your heart needs this right now because Archangel Michael says the moment you stopped begging the past to make sense was the moment your future began to open. And listen to this carefully. The signs you've been receiving lately are not warnings, they are green lights. Repeating numbers showing up when you feel calm instead of anxious, sudden feelings of gratitude for no obvious reason, moments where you catch yourself smiling without knowing why. And don't scroll, because those are confirmations that you're aligned, that your nervous system is settling into safety, that your soul recognizes the terrain ahead even if your mind hasn't mapped it yet, and your heart needs this right now because love is about to meet you at a higher level, not as intensity without stability, not as chemistry without commitment, but as resonance, as ease, as mutual effort that doesn't drain you. And listen to this. If you've been afraid that choosing peace meant choosing loneliness, release that fear now, because peace is the doorway, not the destination, and Archangel Michael is guarding what comes through it, ensuring that what arrives matches your healed self, not your wounded patterns. And don't scroll, this is important. Because the universe has been removing distractions that would have tempted you to settle, distractions that looked familiar, felt comfortable, but would have cost you your growth, and your heart needs this right now because you may not see the full picture yet, but you are no longer standing in the same place energetically, you have already moved, already shifted, already crossed a line you can't uncross. And listen to this carefully. The reason things feel quiet right now is because noise has been replaced with clarity, chaos with order, and urgency with trust. And don't scroll, stay present. Because there is a moment coming when you will be asked, subtly, gently, to choose again, to choose whether you move forward with faith or look back out of habit. And Archangel Michael says you will recognize that moment by how calm it feels, not how intense, not how dramatic, but how steady, how grounded, how right. And your heart needs this right now because you've spent so long proving your loyalty, your love, your patience. And now it's time for life to prove itself to you, to meet you where you are, to show you that alignment does not require suffering. And listen to this one more time, what's leaving your life is doing so without resentment, and what's coming is approaching without force. And don't scroll, because this part seals it. The chapter you're entering will not demand that you abandon yourself to belong, it will invite you to arrive as you are, whole, protected, and ready, and Archangel Michael says this transition is not something you survive, it's something you graduate from, and when you look back, you'll realize this was the moment the cords finally released, the path cleared, and your spirit stepped forward without weight, without fear, and without doubt. Don't scroll. Listen to this, because if you are hearing these words right now, your heart needs this right now more than ever, and this message is for you in a way that bypasses fear and speaks straight to truth, because Archangel Michael is not bringing comfort alone in this moment, he is bringing confirmation, and listen to this carefully. The reason things feel strangely calm yet unfinished, peaceful yet unresolved, is because you are standing inside the final test before alignment locks in, and this test is not about endurance anymore, it's about trust, it's about whether you believe what the universe has been showing you quietly, repeatedly, gently, and your heart needs this right now because the old patterns are no longer chasing you, they're waiting to see if you'll chase them. And don't scroll, because this is important. You are no longer being tempted with obvious chaos, you are being tempted with familiarity, with comfort that costs just a little too much of your peace, and listen to this. If something from your past has been trying to resurface lately, not aggressively, but subtly, through nostalgia, curiosity, or what-if thoughts, that is not a sign to go backward, that is a final check to see how far you've come, and your heart needs this right now because Archangel Michael says you are being trusted with discernment, not tested with punishment, and don't scroll, stay here. Because the universe has noticed how you no longer react the same way, how you pause, how you breathe, how you ask yourself, does this feel safe, instead of, how do I make this work, and listen to this carefully. That shift alone changed your timeline, and angel numbers have been appearing not to warn you, but to reassure you, showing up when you're calm instead of anxious, when you're grounded instead of spiraling, and your heart needs this right now because the soulmate energy tied to your life path is drawing closer, not louder, not more dramatic, but more real, and real connections don't rush, they recognize, they don't destabilize, they anchor, and don't scroll, this matters. Because if you've been feeling less interested in chasing validation, less reactive to mixed signals, less willing to explain yourself, that's not you giving up on love, that's you upgrading your standards, and Archangel Michael is guarding that upgrade fiercely, ensuring that what enters your life next meets you at your level of clarity, not your level of patience, and listen to this. The universe has been asking you one quiet question over and over. Do you trust me even when I'm not giving you details? And your heart needs this right now because every time you chose peace without proof, every time you rested instead of panicked, every time you let silence be an answer, you passed another layer of this test, and don't scroll, because something is about to move, not suddenly, not explosively, but decisively, and when it does, it will feel like relief more than excitement. Like recognition more than surprise, and listen to this carefully. The breakthrough you've been waiting for will not arrive with chaos, it will arrive with certainty, and you will know because your body will relax instead of brace, your breath will deepen instead of catch, and your mind will quiet instead of race, and your heart needs this right now because Archangel Michael says you are no longer in preparation, you are in positioning. And positioning requires stillness, trust, and courage without forcing outcomes. And don't scroll, stay present. Because the universe is aligning people, timing, and opportunities in a way that will soon make the delays make sense, and when clarity arrives, you won't feel the need to explain it to anyone, you'll simply move differently, choose differently, love differently, and listen to this one last time. The final test is not whether you can hold on, it's whether you can let go without fear, whether you can step forward without guarantees, whether you can trust that protection doesn't end when comfort begins, and your heart needs this right now because Archangel Michael is standing with you at this threshold, not pushing, not pulling, just guarding, and what comes next will not ask you to be smaller, quieter, or less than you are. It will meet you where you stand, aligned, protected, and ready, and don't scroll, because the final confirmation is closer than you think. Don't scroll. Please don't scroll, because if you made it all the way here, your heart needs this right now more than anything else you've heard today, and this message is for you in a way that cannot be explained by coincidence, timing, or algorithms, because Archangel Michael is standing beside you in this exact moment to seal what has already been shifting, and listen to this carefully, slowly, deeply, because this is not just comfort, this is confirmation. The long season you've been in, the one marked by waiting, healing, questioning, releasing, and rebuilding, is coming to its true close, not with noise, not with chaos, not with dramatic endings, but with clarity so calm it almost feels unreal, and your heart needs this right now because you have been wondering if you were doing the right thing by choosing peace, by not chasing, by trusting silence, by letting go without knowing what would replace it, and listen to this. Archangel Michael says the universe has been watching every quiet choice you made when no one was applauding you, every moment you chose integrity over impulse, every time you trusted your intuition even when it meant standing alone, and that is why this ending is not a loss, it is a graduation, and don't scroll, because this part is important. The breakthrough you imagined did not arrive the way your past self expected it to, because the past version of you was still trying to survive, but the version of you standing here now is ready to receive, and receiving requires openness, not struggle, trust, not force, and your heart needs this right now because love, purpose, and alignment are now approaching you in their cleanest form, without confusion, without emotional debt, without games. And listen to this carefully. If you were hoping for a sign that you made the right decision, that you didn't miss your chance, that you didn't let go too soon or wait too long, this is that sign, this is the yes you asked for, this is the reassurance your spirit has been craving, and don't scroll, stay with me. Because Archangel Michael says the soulmate energy tied to your destiny is now clear of interference, clear of fear-based attachments, clear of karmic loops, and whether that manifests as a healed reunion, a peaceful closure, or the arrival of someone new who meets you where you are now, it will feel unmistakably different, safer, calmer, mutual, and your heart needs this right now because the old patterns no longer have access to you. The old triggers no longer control you, and the old fears no longer get the final word, and listen to this, the angel numbers you've been seeing were not counting down to loss, they were counting you forward into alignment, step by step, moment by moment, and don't scroll, because this is the moment the universe locks it in. The moment you stop looking back for confirmation and start moving forward with quiet confidence, and Archangel Michael says from this point on, things begin to respond to you differently, conversations shift, opportunities align, people meet you with more respect, and situations resolve with less effort, not because life suddenly became easy, but because you became aligned. And your heart needs this right now because you are no longer being prepared, tested, or refined. You are being trusted, and trust from the universe is powerful. It means you are ready to walk without constant signs, ready to choose without fear, ready to love without losing yourself, and don't scroll. This is your final reminder. Whatever you are stepping into next will not require you to betray your peace to belong, it will not ask you to prove your worth through pain, it will not confuse intensity for intimacy, and listen to this one last time, let it settle into your chest, because this is the ending you waited for without realizing it was also the beginning of ease, alignment, emotional safety, and truth. And Archangel Michael says as you move forward from this moment, carry this knowing with you. You were never late, never forgotten, never wrong for hoping, and everything that had to fall away did so to make room for what can finally stay. And if you feel a sense of calm right now, a quiet certainty, a deep breath releasing from your body, that is your confirmation, that is the seal, that is the universe saying yes. And don't scroll away from this feeling, hold it, trust it, because this is where your story truly turns. And this time, it turns in your favor. Stop everything. Archangel Michael needs you to hear this. Don't scroll. Stop everything right now and listen to this, because this message is for you, and your heart needs this right now, even if you don't fully understand why yet, even if you almost skipped past it, even if something inside you feels shaky or uncertain, because that pause you just felt was not random, that stillness was not an accident. And the reason you're here is because Archangel Michael has stepped in at this exact moment to interrupt your timeline, to shield you from a wrong emotional turn, and to speak directly to your soul in a way that bypasses logic and goes straight to the deepest part of you. Listen to this, breathe for a second, unclench your jaw, drop your shoulders, because heaven knows how heavy things have been for you lately. It knows how much you've been carrying in silence, how many nights you've replayed conversations in your head, how many times you've asked the universe for a sign and then doubted yourself when it came. And this message is for you because you were starting to think that maybe you were asking for too much. Maybe you were expecting too much, maybe you should just settle or let go or stop hoping. But don't scroll, listen to this. Archangel Michael says the delay you've been frustrated by was protection, the confusion was cover, the emotional exhaustion was not weakness but evidence of how much you've already survived, and right now there is a spiritual shift happening around you that you can't see yet but you can feel it, that subtle pressure in your chest, that lump in your throat, that strange mix of peace and anticipation, that's awakening, that's your intuition getting louder. That's the universe saying pay attention, because signs have been following you, numbers repeating like 1111 when you're thinking about your future, 222 when you're questioning a relationship, 444 when you feel alone. And listen to this, those are not coincidences, those are confirmations, gentle taps on the shoulder from the divine saying you are on the right path even if it doesn't look like it yet. And your heart needs this right now because there is a soulmate-level connection tied to your destiny that has been under spiritual protection this entire time, whether that person is already in your life, temporarily distant, or still on their way to you. And don't scroll, this part matters. Because if one person's face just came to your mind out of nowhere, that's not imagination, that's energetic alignment. And Archangel Michael is actively removing interference from this connection, cutting cords with confusion, jealousy, fear, and third-party energy, because what is meant for you cannot be taken from you, and what is not aligned will fall away no matter how hard you try to hold it together. And listen to this. Your emotional sensitivity right now is not a flaw, it's a signal that your heart is opening wider than it ever has before, that you are learning to feel without armor, to trust without guarantees, to believe again after disappointment, and your heart needs this right now because you've been strong for so long that you forgot you're allowed to rest, you forgot you're allowed to receive, you forgot that protection doesn't always look like a battle. It sometimes looks like a pause, a redirection, a sudden loss of interest in what once consumed you. And don't scroll, because something is about to shift, and when it does, you're going to look back at this exact moment and realize this was the confirmation you asked for, the calm before the reveal, the breath before the breakthrough. And listen to this carefully. The universe is lining up a conversation, a message, an opportunity, or a realization that will change how you see your past choices, and it will make sense why certain doors closed without explanation, why certain people drifted away, why your plans fell apart at the last minute, because Archangel Michael has been standing guard, redirecting what would have hurt you, even when you didn't understand it at the time. And your heart needs this right now because you are not behind, you are not forgotten, you are not too late. You are precisely where you need to be for what's coming next, and don't scroll, stay with me, because the next sign will come when you least expect it but exactly when you need it, and it will feel like recognition, like relief, like truth landing softly but firmly in your chest, and when it happens you'll know this message wasn't just comforting words, it was a divine checkpoint, a moment of protection, a reminder that you are guided, watched over, and deeply loved, and Archangel Michael says. This chapter ends in clarity, not confusion, in peace, not fear, in alignment, not struggle, and listen to this one last time, because your heart needs this right now. Trust what you feel, honor what's being revealed, and don't doubt the pull that brought you here, because this is not the end of the story, it's the moment everything begins to turn in your favor. Don't scroll. Listen to this, because if you're still here, it's not by accident, and your heart needs this right now more than you realize, because Archangel Michael is leaning in closer in this moment, not to scare you, not to rush you, but to steady you, to anchor you, to remind you that what you're feeling lately, the emotional waves, the sudden memories, the deep tiredness mixed with quiet hope, is all part of a divine unraveling that had to happen before the breakthrough could arrive. And listen to this, because the reason you felt like you're standing at a crossroads is because you actually are, spiritually, energetically, emotionally, and the universe has been watching how gently you've handled things that once would have broken you, how you've learned to pause instead of react, how you've chosen silence instead of chaos. And your heart needs this right now because Archangel Michael says you passed a test you didn't even know you were taking, a test of restraint, faith, emotional maturity, and self-respect, and don't scroll, because this next part is important. There were moments recently when you almost went back to something familiar even though it no longer aligned with who you're becoming, moments when loneliness whispered louder than wisdom, moments when doubt tried to convince you that waiting meant losing, but listen to this. Heaven stepped in quietly, rerouting energy, blocking certain communications, delaying certain encounters. Not to punish you but to protect the version of you that's emerging now, and your heart needs this right now. Because the universe is responding to the way you've been choosing yourself lately, even when it felt uncomfortable, even when it felt selfish, even when it meant letting go of expectations that once defined you, and don't scroll. If you've been waking up between 2 and 4 a.m. with your mind racing, that's not insomnia, that's spiritual download, that's your subconscious aligning with a higher frequency, that's Archangel Michael reinforcing boundaries in the unseen realm, cutting cords that drained you, especially cords tied to guilt, overgiving, and unspoken resentment, and listen to this carefully. Your soulmate connection is being recalibrated right now, not because love was lost, but because it's being refined, purified, and elevated, and if you felt emotional distance, silence, or confusion around a specific person, that was necessary to expose what was real beneath the attachment, because soul connections don't disappear, they transform, and your heart needs this right now because what's returning, whether it's clarity, closure, or reunion, will arrive differently than before, calmer, cleaner, more honest, and don't scroll, because signs are about to intensify, repeating numbers showing up exactly when you question yourself, songs playing with lyrics that answer your thoughts, random conversations confirming what you've been praying about, and listen to this, those are breadcrumbs, divine reassurance that you're walking in alignment even when the path feels foggy. And Archangel Michael says the reason things feel quiet right now is because the universe is rearranging pieces behind the scenes, and loud manifestations require silent preparation, and your heart needs this right now because there is a decision coming that will require courage, not force, trust, not control, and when it arrives you'll feel an immediate sense of calm mixed with nervous excitement. That's how you'll know it's right, because what's meant for you will never require you to abandon yourself. And don't scroll, stay with this. Because the old version of you would have chased clarity, chased validation, chased reassurance, but the new you is learning to attract by alignment, to allow instead of force, to listen instead of panic. And listen to this, Archangel Michael says the universe has noticed your growth, and it's responding by matching your energy with opportunities, connections, and outcomes that mirror your worth, not your wounds. And your heart needs this right now because the chapter that's ending was heavy, confusing, emotionally draining, and it taught you lessons you didn't want but needed, lessons about boundaries, self-trust, and the difference between potential and reality. And don't scroll, because what's next will feel lighter, more mutual, more grounded, and you won't have to beg, chase, or over-explain yourself to be understood. And listen to this carefully. The next message you receive, whether literal or intuitive, will answer a question you've been holding in your heart for a long time, and when it comes, don't overthink it, don't second-guess it, just notice how your body responds, because peace is the confirmation you've been asking for, and your heart needs this right now because Archangel Michael is reminding you that protection doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like clarity arriving slowly, like emotions settling, like realizing you no longer want what once consumed you. And don't scroll, this is your reminder. You are divinely guided, emotionally protected, and spiritually supported through this transition, and the reason you were led to hear this part is to prepare you, gently, lovingly, for what's about to unfold next, because the universe isn't done surprising you yet, and what's coming will feel like recognition, alignment, and relief, and when it happens, you'll understand why everything had to happen exactly the way it did. Don't scroll. Listen to this, because if you've made it this far, your soul already knows this message is for you, and your heart needs this right now even if your mind is still trying to catch up, because Archangel Michael is not whispering anymore, he's speaking clearly now, directly into the space you've been protecting, the space where hope and fear have been quietly coexisting. And listen to this, because the reason everything has felt so intense lately. The emotions, the memories resurfacing, the sudden clarity followed by doubt, is because you are standing at the edge of a revelation, and the universe doesn't bring revelation gently, it brings it truthfully, and your heart needs this right now because something you believed about your life, your love, or your future is about to be rewritten, not taken away, not destroyed, but upgraded. And don't scroll, because this is the moment where understanding replaces confusion, where you stop blaming yourself for things that were never meant to last in the form you imagined. And listen to this carefully. The universe has been stripping away illusions, not blessings, and if something or someone has been fading, pulling back, or forcing you to sit in silence, that was intentional, because Archangel Michael says clarity can only arrive when distractions are removed, and your heart needs this right now because you've been questioning your worth in moments of stillness, wondering if you did enough, if you waited too long, if you should have tried harder. But listen to this. What is meant for you does not require self-betrayal, it does not require shrinking, it does not require pain as proof of love. And don't scroll, because this is where the energy shifts, this is where the universe responds to the inner work you've been doing quietly, choosing peace over chaos, boundaries over people-pleasing, intuition over fear. And listen to this, because the signs around you are increasing for a reason. Repeating numbers appearing when you feel unsure, feathers, songs, names, synchronicities lining up in ways you can't explain but feel deeply, and your heart needs this right now because these are confirmations that you are aligned with your higher path, even if the physical world hasn't caught up yet. And don't scroll, this part matters. There is a soulmate-level bond tied to your awakening, and it has been tested not to break it, but to strengthen it, to remove fantasy and reveal truth, and whether this connection comes through reunion, release, or recognition of someone new, it will feel different than anything you've known before, calmer, safer, more mutual, because Archangel Michael does not protect chaos disguised as passion. He protects peace disguised as simplicity, and your heart needs this right now because the emotional exhaustion you felt was the final shedding of an old version of you, the version that tolerated confusion, inconsistency, and emotional imbalance. And listen to this, because the reason you felt called to be alone, to pull back, to reflect, was not loneliness, it was preparation, it was integration, it was your soul recalibrating to a higher standard of love and life. And don't scroll, because something is about to be revealed to you through a conversation, a realization, or a moment of deep inner knowing that will answer questions you've been carrying for months or even years. And when it happens, you may feel emotional, not because it hurts, but because it finally makes sense, and your heart needs this right now because Archangel Michael says the chapter you're leaving behind taught you discernment, patience, and self-respect, and the chapter ahead will reward you with alignment, reciprocity, and peace. And listen to this carefully. The universe is not asking you to chase anything anymore, it's asking you to receive, to stay open without forcing outcomes, to trust that what's meant for you is moving toward you even now. And don't scroll, stay with this. Because the next sign will come as reassurance, not confusion, and it will confirm that you are protected, guided, and supported more than you ever realized. And your heart needs this right now because the fear of being wrong, of missing out, of making the wrong choice has been holding you in limbo. But Archangel Michael says there is no wrong turn when you move with integrity and self-trust. And listen to this one more time. The universe does not test you to punish you, it tests you to show you who you've become, and you have become someone who knows their worth, who listens to their intuition, who no longer settles for less than alignment. And don't scroll, because this message is sealing something energetically, closing one loop and opening another. And when you look back, you'll realize this was the moment your path became clear, not loud, not dramatic, but deeply, unmistakably right. Don't scroll, please don't scroll, because if you made it all the way here, your heart needs this right now more than anything else you've heard today. And this message is for you in a way that cannot be explained by coincidence, timing, or algorithms, because Archangel Michael is standing beside you in this exact moment to seal what has already been shifting. And listen to this carefully, slowly, deeply, because this is not just comfort, this is confirmation. The long season you've been in, the one marked by waiting, healing, questioning, releasing, and rebuilding, is coming to its true close, not with noise, not with chaos, not with dramatic endings, but with clarity so calm it almost feels unreal. And your heart needs this right now because you have been wondering if you were doing the right thing by choosing peace, by not chasing, by trusting silence, by letting go without knowing what would replace it. And listen to this. Archangel Michael says the universe has been watching every quiet choice you made when no one was applauding you, every moment you chose integrity over impulse, every time you trusted your intuition even when it meant standing alone. And that is why this ending is not a loss, it is a graduation. And don't scroll, because this part is important. The breakthrough you imagined did not arrive the way your past self expected it to, because the past version of you was still trying to survive, but the version of you standing here now is ready to receive, and receiving requires openness, not struggle, trust, not force. And your heart needs this right now because love, purpose, and alignment are now approaching you in their cleanest form, without confusion, without emotional debt, without games. And listen to this carefully. If you were hoping for a sign that you made the right decision, that you didn't miss your chance, that you didn't let go too soon or wait too long, this is that sign. This is the yes you asked for. This is the reassurance your spirit has been craving. And don't scroll. Stay with me. Because Archangel Michael says the soulmate energy tied to your destiny is now clear of interference, clear of fear-based attachments, clear of karmic loops, and whether that manifests as a healed reunion, a peaceful closure, or the arrival of someone new who meets you where you are now, it will feel unmistakably different, safer, calmer, mutual, and your heart needs this right now because the old patterns no longer have access to you. The old triggers no longer control you, and the old fears no longer get the final word. And listen to this. The angel numbers you've been seeing were not counting down to loss, they were counting you forward into alignment, step by step, moment by moment. And don't scroll, because this is the moment the universe locks it in. The moment you stop looking back for confirmation and start moving forward with quiet confidence, and Archangel Michael says from this point on, things begin to respond to you differently, conversations shift, opportunities align, people meet you with more respect, and situations resolve with less effort, not because life suddenly became easy, but because you became aligned. And your heart needs this right now because you are no longer being prepared, tested, or refined. You are being trusted, and trust from the universe is powerful. It means you are ready to walk without constant signs, ready to choose without fear, ready to love without losing yourself. And don't scroll. This is your final reminder. Whatever you are stepping into next will not require you to betray your peace to belong. It will not ask you to prove your worth through pain. It will not confuse intensity for intimacy. And listen to this one last time, let it settle into your chest, because this is the ending you waited for without realizing it was also the beginning of ease, alignment, emotional safety, and truth. And Archangel Michael says as you move forward from this moment, carry this knowing with you. You were never late, never forgotten, never wrong for hoping, and everything that had to fall away did so to make room for what can finally stay. And if you feel a sense of calm right now, a quiet certainty, a deep breath releasing from your body, that is your confirmation, that is the seal, that is the universe saying yes. And don't scroll away from this feeling, hold it, trust it, because this is where your story truly turns. And this time, it turns in your favor.